Okay, let's try this again. Okay, I don't know if this thing keeps starting over or what, but I keep getting disconnected. Maybe it'll keep going this time. Anyway, all right. Hey, how you doing? Willis says hi. It's been, I don't know, maybe almost 2 weeks since I've done one of these live streams while I'm driving and talking. Did some live streams when I went to the Trump rally here in Phoenix on Wednesday, last Wednesday. And talked to some people, uploaded those videos, and then come here, bud. And then I think the last video I did was just recording a stereo receiver with some speakers that I have, so when I put it online, people can see that it works and it sounds good, so I could sell it. Where do I start? Somebody asks if I got to ask Trump why he's killing us. Yeah, I just went up on stage and had a quick conversation with him, and everybody was nice enough to let us take the time to have a personal conversation. Yeah. So if you are a targeted individual, and you've gone through, there's so many different types of targeted individuals, but if you're a person that's gone through long-term trauma, you started way for Trump, and this is not something somebody started complaining about in 2016. Some people have. That's because Department of Homeland Security and the FISA court are still intact, and they're trying to squeeze out every dime they can and keep a lot of these groups going and funded as much as possible until they get caught. So it looks like a few politicians are in the works of trying to basically abolish the FISA court. The FISA court started in 1976, the year after I was born. And it's been going, let's see, a long time now, 44 years. Who's that guy, Willie? Hey, maybe you shouldn't bark at that guy. Hey, relax. 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 He just looks like a terrorist. You can't judge everybody. Hey. Stop it. So yeah, the FISA court. If you've been researching, if you've been paying attention, you know that after the 9/11 attacks, the Patriot Act was enacted. That was not to enable patriots or nationalists, people that loved our country. That was to target people, and it's a globalist agenda. The Department of Homeland Security was formed after that as well. So anyway, like I was saying, it looks like a few of our representatives are trying to put into action or take some measures to get rid of the FISA court, basically. Congressman, I believe he's a congressman, Representative Andy Biggs, here from Arizona. He was at the Trump rally on Wednesday, and spoke to him real briefly, gave him my card. And yesterday, it's Thursday, right? Yesterday, he tweeted a video talking about the unconstitutional FISA court and how it violates American citizens' Fourth Amendment. It violates a lot more than that, but if you're on Twitter at all, you follow my Twitter account, you've been seeing a flyer that I've been sharing with people pretty much non-stop. That Karen Melton Stewart wrote, that covers the Department of Homeland Security watch list scam. And so Andy Biggs posted that video talking about how they want to get rid of the FISA court and start actually allowing citizens due process, to have to be charged with something, go to a court of law to actually defend yourself. And I shared that flyer with him too. Jim Jordan's talking about the FISA court, Devin Nunes. And some other people. So if that FISA court is declassified, and the information that comes out that what they've been doing is similar to the Stasi police, and a lot of the targeted individuals that have gone through this non-stop 24/7 365-day-a-year organized stalking and harassment, and just all-out psychological torture in their life, can get that information of who and why this was supposedly done to them, what reasons they came up with, then there's some hope for us. I don't really see any other answer. You know, just like the Stasi police, when they were shut down, they had files, they had secret files on all of the people they were going after, and those files were opened up, and everything that they had done, the public was allowed to see, and people were disgusted with the things that they did. Go ahead, buddy. You're welcome. So I'm really hoping that happens soon, because they really put you through some terrible things. A lot of setups, a lot of weaponized systems that are used against the target, like the police department. If you've been following my story for any amount of time, you know that I was arrested January 4th, 2017. I've been going through the whole process since then, so over 3 years now. Lost $50,000. Was not allowed to go to trial. Information was hidden from me. Motion discovery. Tried to file a motion to compel for exculpatory evidence, which were body cameras, which would prove exactly what I was saying. It's called Brady material. No, I wasn't allowed to have that. even though it was proven that that department carries body cameras. Look at this. Even though it was proven that that the department carries body cameras, and they carried them at that time because they used the body camera to search my mailbox. Yet there were 11 police officers that showed up to the scene of this incident after a guy pulled a gun on me that I got on video, and then followed me to my home. Nobody happened to turn on their body camera. Was not allowed to go to trial. Had to go through a couple attorneys, 3 to be exact. One I paid a lot of money, 2 were public defenders that would not even answer the phone. And it was a big mess. I requested to go to trial. Was not allowed to go to trial. Was forced to sign a plea deal. And before I signed that plea deal, I said I'm absolutely not signing this. If you're going to subject me to a psychological evaluation, because by then I started understanding how this whole system works, and if you can prove in court, or if you would be a witness later on to testify in court, they want to make sure that they use the mental health system as a weapon to ruin your credibility. So once you're labeled delusional or schizophrenic, you can no longer testify in the court of law, and that's what they want. When the gang stalking program is basically built around the Minnesota multiphasic inventory, there's questions on there that say, are you being followed? Do you know who's responsible for your downfall? Well, yeah, they literally follow you while you're being targeted. And if you are an honest person and you answer truthfully, they just call you delusional. So you're reporting reality, you're reporting standard operating procedures, you're reporting tactics that are used on you, and instead of getting help, you are labeled mentally ill, which is a weaponized system, and it's a form of lawfare, warfare with the law, warfare with systems. And I was told that I would not have to take a psychological evaluation, that the probation officer would evaluate me and tell me if I needed to take psychological evaluation. And I thought to myself, that doesn't seem right. How does a police officer, not even a police officer, so it doesn't even carry a gun, evaluate somebody to tell them if they need to be psychologically evaluated? It just does not make any sense. So I go to my first probation meeting, and I don't remember if it was the first, second, third, whatever, but anyway, he told me, yeah, the court papers here say they demand that you take a psychological evaluation. I said, well, the judge said that you would determine if I would need to take one or not. So how are you determining? He said, I'm not determining anything. Court papers say it right here. So, lied to. And I fought that, filed a motion to go to court, talk to the judge. They basically ignored, well, they sent me a letter saying that they had already made that decision. They basically not allowing me to go to court and explain to the judge what he told me and how what he told me was completely different from what transpired. So it's been 8-9 months now that I've been on probation, and I've been fighting this legally, going through the process, trying to ask questions, why they had lied to me, and finally they They told me if I don't do a psychological evaluation by the 29th of this month, that I was in violation of my probation. If you violate your probation, you end up, I don't even know what the whole process is. I couldn't get an attorney to tell me the truth. But I don't want to violate my probation. I want to get through this thing and get it over with, not end up having to go to prison. I have a daughter to raise. I have a life to live. I shouldn't be in this position in the first place. I should be the plaintiff in this case. So, psychological evaluation is $2,500 to $6,000 because it's an in-depth case. I talked to several psychologists and got quotes, explained to them exactly what I needed to do, what the situation was, and it was $3,000 to $6,000 for me to pay for this. My insurance doesn't cover it. The insurance is a catastrophic policy for catastrophic events with like a $15,000 out of pocket. What are you looking at, Willis? You see some airplanes flying over here. So they finally give me a number to call. Guy says, here, this place will do your psychological evaluation. It's a basic psychological evaluation. Just call this place. You can go in here and they'll take care of this for you. I was like, fine, okay, there's nothing else I can do really. I'm stuck. So I called this place to set up an appointment, and the lady seemed really surprised that I was calling to set up an appointment. She goes, no, we don't do that here. This is an emergency psychiatric facility. You come in here, it's walk-in only, and whatever symptoms you're having, we can help you with. I said, well, that's interesting because I'm not having any symptoms. I don't need emergency psychiatric help. I need to set up an appointment for a psychological evaluation. And she was completely confused, like, why are you calling here? So it turns out they gave me a number to a place that I would have to basically go to if I was in a traumatic situation and I needed emergency help. So if I were to walk into that place, there would be record of me going to an emergency psychiatric clinic asking for help, which is absolutely the last thing that I need in the world. I need to be taken off of whatever list this is and be allowed to live my life. So I recorded that call. Maybe I'll go ahead and upload that video of that phone call. So I messaged the probation officer, Adeyemi Akanbi. Hi, Adeyemi. If you're watching, how you doing? I called you and left a message. You didn't call me back. You sent me a text message that says, research where you want to be evaluated. That's it. Text message saying, research where you want to be evaluated. Number one, I don't want to be evaluated. I want to go back to court and I want to talk to the judge about this whole thing because there's no need for a psychological evaluation. If I've gone through this for this long and I've done just fine, made it to all of these meetings, wearing my suit, bringing all of the paperwork that I need to bring in, communicating effectively, there's clearly no issue. So I'm told, do your own research on where you want to be evaluated. Not we will pay for it, not it, any other information like that. Just do your own research. So now I need to contact the probation department, get some things verified from them, but it almost feels like they were trying to set me up to go get an emergency evaluation to show, oh, he's unstable. He's unstable. He went to this emergency place and checked himself in. They probably would have held me for 30 days if I would have went into this place. Um, but that's nothing close to what what they're telling me is needed. A psychological evaluation or a psychiatric evaluation, whatever you want to call it. Difference between psychological evaluation, psychologist and psychiatrist. A psychiatrist does the same thing, only they can prescribe drugs. And I need none of that. So imagine if I just would have went into this place, they would have had a way to medically kidnap me, take me out of the fight, and shut me up. Nothing I would say after that is worth anything, because now they have this piece of paper. It says somebody here says it sounds like they're trying to tag you with the 5150. Yeah, if you're in California, I believe that's what it's called. I don't think they call it that here, but yeah. And 5150 is actually criminally insane. If you look up the definition of that, which look at my YouTube channel, look at my Twitter, what I talk about. I investigate corruption and weaponized systems. So I'm completely the opposite of criminally insane. I work hard, I run a business, I go by the law, and yet I get attacked for it. Willis, what you doing, buddy? What are you doing? So hopefully giving that card to Congressman Biggs, meeting some of the people that I did meet at the Trump rally. I met one of the guys that actually testified in the case with Michael Avenatti. Talked to him for a little while. He was a bright guy, business guy, and that was a pretty interesting conversation. There's a lot of good information from people that I met at the Trump rally. I did not get gang stalked one bit. There were two out of the 35,000 people there. There were two people that I was suspect of. One guy might have just been a guy with a big ego. He was asking me questions, and he was basically trying to make me look stupid. But I kept my composure and kept answering his questions. And even the people that were around listening to this conversation, because a lot of people were asking me about my T-shirt. 13818 is great, Executive Order 13818, and I was explaining that to a lot of people how the executive order will help end corruption and seize assets of people that have used governmental weaponized systems against our society. So I was explaining that, and this guy was just putting me on blast. And he was like, well, how do you know this and how do you know that? And I kept answering his questions. I told him, you know what, I don't mind hardball questions, because I want to answer all of this properly, and actually I appreciate those questions because it helps me further validate what I'm talking about. And it made the guy furious. He was trying to trigger me, and it wasn't working. And the people that were standing around us were like looking at me, looking at him. They were like, "Oh my gosh, we're getting uncomfortable. This guy's a jerk." And then there was a guy next to me in line that started talking about just some weird stuff. Out of the 35,000 people that were there and the hundreds of people that I talked to, those were the only two people that acted weird at all. Nobody was using directed conversation on me. Nobody was just doing anything typical of what gang stalkers normally do. And there was such a diverse crowd. There was every ethnicity of person I mean, it looked like a crowd from California. It white people, black people, Asian people, straight people, gay people, business owners, workers, every type of person you can imagine. They had the guy with the brick wall suit there. Talked to him for a while. Jason Frank, the guy that one of the guys that carried the World War II veteran down to his seat at the Trump rally. It's if you haven't seen it, you haven't been on the internet. Um, that guy was awesome. He actually connected me with Ted Gunderson's granddaughter and let me say hi to her. If you're a targeted individual, you probably know who Ted Gunderson is. He was an FBI agent that basically blew the whistle on Satanism and targeted individuals, what targeted individuals were, what they go through, and why. Jason knew Ted Gunderson's granddaughter, connected me with her on a live stream and allowed me to tell her thanks and to let her know that her grandpa was a hero. Um, that's on one of my last live streams. You can check that out. I had no idea who the guy was. He was talking about Q to somebody. I just stopped and started a conversation with him. He was an awesome guy. Gave him a hug, told him I loved him, and later on that night, I'm down on the floor at the Trump rally. Just right after I gave, or right before I gave Congressman Biggs my card. Met with some other people. I was talking with some Secret Service guys, some security stuff like that, and I look over. The crowd's chanting USA, USA, and I'm like, is that the guy that I was talking to earlier, carrying that guy down from his seat or to his seat? And yeah, sure enough. And then the next thing you know, it's the first Trump campaign ad that's being used is Jason and the other guy carrying the guy down to his seat, and all of us at the Trump rally having a great time. It was such a feeling of unity and just passion for our country, and it was a great thing. So many people asked me about my shirt. People were taking photos with me, asking to pose in photos with me. Lady from Scotland, yeah, wanted to take a picture with me. I lost track how many people took photos with me wearing my shirt that said 13818 is great and declass FISA on the back. I actually ended up on Fox News with that shirt, so possibly hundreds of thousands of people got to see declass FISA. If they didn't know what FISA was, they could look that up, hopefully. Um, yeah, that was on Fox News. My son sent a clip of it to me from Minnesota. That's where he saw it. So national news. Um, yeah, let's see here. All right, this is 30 minutes already. Sitting here in my truck at the storage facility. I need to pick up my utility trailer, and that's why I decided to go ahead and do a live stream. I was going for a drive. That's when I do these. I just seem to think a little bit better when I'm driving, and yeah, I don't know. I like taking you all for a ride with me in the truck here. All right, I can't think of anything else to talk about right now. I just wanted to update everybody on what's going on. Oh, got really close with the bills this month, so we had to sell my daughter's van. Bought her a minivan so she can get to work and school. Um, had that 5 months, close to 6 months, whatever. Put 1,500 miles on it. Had to turn around and sell it to be able to sell the bills this month. The eBay store is hacked constantly. Half the time, it doesn't even seem like real people buying the items from me. A lot of the names sound like these made-up names. items being sent to wrong addresses, and the last name of the person that bought that item is Wong, W-O-N-G, like the Wong address. And it just goes on and on and on. I get an email from eBay today that says a third-party user has hacked one of our members' accounts and has been communicating with you. Please do not speak with this person anymore. It might not actually be the buyer. And then yeah, it's been going on and on and on. Having a tough time paying the bills. So hopefully that'll change. See what I can do this weekend. I've been doing this for 10 years, and all of a sudden it's almost impossible to make it. So, all right, we're gonna go. You wanna get out and help me? You wanna get out and help me? Huh? You don't have any thumbs. You can't even pick up the thing. All right, we're gonna go get the trailer. Everybody have a good night. Thanks for showing up. Sorry if I missed your comments here. It just helps me focus when I don't pay attention to some of those. Nothing personal, but I'm doing this to document. You know, if I've been doing this for 3 years now, showing repetition, documenting the tactics, the standard operating procedures that take place when you're targeted or blacklisted, watch listed through Department of Homeland Security, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court, not for being a terrorist, but for somebody that would go after terrorists. Which, oh, okay, one more thing. I keep saying I'm going to go, but I keep thinking of some different things to cover that happened. In November, I believe it was around November. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. When al-Baghdadi was killed, the leader of ISIS, when he was killed, I'm watching the reports coming out that Baghdadi has been killed. And I was like, why does that name look so familiar? Baghdadi, huh? And then I go to pay my rent, and the hookah lounge right next to the place that I pay my rent is called Baghdadi Hookah Lounge and Cafe. And I'm like, I've never heard that name in my life. What are the odds that it's the exact same name, spelled the exact same way? And John McCain, who is here from Arizona, from this area, had connections to terrorist organizations. I thought, well, a guy like John McCain would have a lot of power, and he would probably be able to allow some of those people to come here and carry out whatever terrorist bullshit they would try to carry out here in Phoenix. I started reporting on that, took photos of it, showed where the area was. Long story short, 4 months later, a terrorist was captured in that exact area that I uploaded that photo from. That I put out that information on Twitter. It's 35th Avenue and Northern in Phoenix, Arizona. Put that information out. 4 months later, in the exact same area, they captured a terrorist. Who knows? Could be coincidence. It just seemed like there was a chance that it was possibly not a coincidence. So, hey, if I helped capture a terrorist, somebody that had murdered Iraqi police during Desert Storm, then awesome. You know, that's what I signed up in the military for, is to do a good thing and help people. So maybe I helped some families in Iraq that lost their loved ones. Helped give them some closure. Who knows? All right, I'm going to end on that. Thanks for tuning in here with me, everybody. And I hope you all have a good night. I hope this FISA court is abolished, declassified, so we can prove what we've been talking about for years now. And Yeah, yeah. Oh, and hey, check out how many CEOs have resigned recently. Just this week, like 10 of them. Disney, awesome. Uh, yeah, check that out. All right, everybody, have a good night.